and welcome to the Crafter's Toolbox. This time I'm sharing with you something I've done with my stamp positioning tool that helps with quicker alignment and faster stamping. And the secret is I'm not using my magnets anymore, or at least I'm really not using them very often. What I've done is I set up my positioner with these SIzzix Sticky Grid sheets, and they come in multiple sizes. There's this smaller size here, and a larger size that's really designed to use with your Big Shot or other die cutting machine, but I'm actually using them also for my stamp positioners. So let me show you really quickly. This is the small positioner, and I have two grids set up in here, and you can see that I have them set up so that the grids end up aligned with the ruler. And that's on purpose, so that way it's super easy for me to stamp along the way. So I really just set those up earlier, and they're fresh, so I didn't want to take them out, but I will show you on my large positioner what I'm doing here. So with this one, I took the larger grids and I was able to cut it into 3 sections. They're basically like 2-inch sections. And you see they just come up really easily. And you could turn them over, but I noticed that the back side is not as sticky anymore. So you could do that if you wanted to. But you can just start off with a fresh one too. They last for, I've been stamping pretty heavily, so they last me for a couple of days. If you're not stamping as frequently, then you'll see that they last you for quite a while. And if you're really careful about them, I'm sure they'll last for even a few weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel back a little bit of this one here. So this is going to be the back side, and you can see that there's a little bit of space here at the top and at the side. If I really wanted to, what I could do is just trim this right off, which is probably the easiest way to do it, is trim this off. You see how I have it cut right at the grid on this side. So this will actually work really perfectly if I put it right in the corner here, because it should match up with my grid exactly. So I'm just going to peel back a little bit here and get it in place. This is so that it's easier to manage, right? Because you start getting something sticky and it doesn't want to cooperate, right? So I'm just going to tear that all the way down. Give it a good press. And then, of course, this bottom piece, it has a little lip here, so I'm going to hold this so that it doesn't peel up on me. And then voila, I have a grid right in place. So as I'm looking at it, this is actually lining up pretty nicely to the actual ruler. If you notice that that is an issue, the other option you have is to pull it down about 1/4 of an inch and to really eyeball it in place. You can take even like a little strip that you have cut to 1/4 of an inch and put it in place and then get everything in line and get it ready to go. So let me show you then how easy it is to use these with the sentiment strips. So I've been doing, you've seen these cards lately if you've been out on the blog, and you can see that I have these nice strips. This is from the sentiment strip set from Altenew. You can see that they're like perfectly in place here. And that's because I'm using these sticky strips to get everything aligned. So I have these 1/4-inch strips. And normally this is super dangerous, right? You cut a 1/4-inch strip and you try to stamp on it and you can never really get it to work right. So now all I have to do is stick these guys across. And you can see I'm using the grid to make it happen, right? And I like to give, if I'm going to do a couple of sentiments at a time, I like to give myself just a little bit of space so they're not all right on top of each other. So I have 3 stamps, 3 pieces in here. And then I'm just going to take my sentiments and align them in place. And this is really nice because you can do multiples. It works really great if you happen to hold classes. This is something that can help expedite the stamping process for people attending your class, and it really helps them feel successful in their stamping because you can use the stamp positioner. They have the 1/4-inch strips cut perfectly already, so There you go. So now I have these guys all on the lid here, and I can look to see if maybe they're not quite aligned. I can even look at them here and see if I feel like they need a little micro adjustment, which I can do by, just moving it while it's on the lid. And you can see here even that it lines up with the grid on the lid too. So that is really perfection. So now I can just go ahead and ink these guys up and stamp them. And of course, you're using your positioner, so if you don't get a good stamp the first time, you can pop the lid back down and grab the rest of the ink, or you can add more ink if you need to, and it works out really great. So I hope this little tip with the SIzzix sticky sheets helps you use your stamp positioners more effectively. Thanks for stopping by today. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you really like this video. I love to see comments too, so that I know that I'm on track with the content that I'm providing you. Thanks for stopping by today, and until next time, happy crafting.